guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Allie and today I'm doing something a little different. I don't know if you guys are going to end up seeing this at the end of my year or the halfway mark. I have no idea how I'm doing this yet, so wherever we're at, you guys know I don't. This is what I'm calling my plant vlog because I don't know why it dawned on me really, but I was just sitting down at the end of last year and thinking about these gorgeous, like, yet simple, like, umbrella plants that I used to have, and I adored them. I had several of them around my house and they were just so stunning. And honestly, I thought I was the plant god because I took such good care of these plants, to a point to where I started to kind of slack a little bit here and there, and then I thought I had a routine down, really didn't, and one by one they started dying on me, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing anymore. I failed as a plant mom, and I felt horrible about it to a point to where I've never gotten another one because I killed all of them. It was really, really traumatic. So fast forward, I wanted more plants, so I still have, around that time I had lost other plants too. It was just a really bad time for plants, you guys. But fast forward, I got a plant from my friend. It was like a clipping off of like this, she has this large plant that goes all around her kitchen. So she was like, do you want some of it? Like, I have so much of it. And I said, yes, I want that to go all around my kitchen. So she gave me a clipping of it. I've been taking care of it. The plant behind me was given to me by my momo, and I have worked really hard on keeping that plant alive, okay? And then I had one other plant from my momo left because she gave me quite a few of the umbrella plants too. And then I got cats and they like fucking destroyed that plant. Like, and it was one of those like, I think it was like a type of spider plant. So to them, they're just like, ooh, fresh grass. So yeah, they attacked it. And I'm pretty sure used it like a litter box and I just didn't know. I kept watering it and thinking, God, this thing looks really rough. Yeah. Thinking about all of this at the end of last year, I was like, I want to be a good plant mom. I want plants back in my house. Yes, I still have cats and I love my cats. I want to do everything I can to have my cats and my plants. And we've already had some casualties because of my cats, let me tell you. January's mindset was, I want to become a good plant mom. This is my year of plants. And not only am I getting plants, but I am researching them. So that was my mindset for January, was I want to get a plant. I set my goals. I'm like, I want a new plant every month and I want to learn what it is, what it likes, what it doesn't like, and like actually deep dive into it, figure this plant out. And hey, by the end of the year, I'll have 12 new plants. And I wanted that to also be like, you know, I think January I was even like, I'm not getting new plants this month because I'm going to take this month to get to know the like, I think 4 plants. I think I had 4 plants at the beginning of the year. I'm like, my 4 plants, I want to get to know them really, really well first for January. And then we'll start in February adding on to that. Little did I know that my husband, I love him to death, he went to this, like these different classes and stuff and things that were, I don't even know. He's a principal at a school, so how he was even at these classes or what they were for, I don't even know. They were for something, I think, introducing maybe something from like the high school and just like all of the principals and, you know, certain members of each school were at. I don't really know, but it was about plants. And this woman brought in all of these starter plants and seeds and, okay. James not only stocked me up on seeds and like things to plant seeds in for my garden this year, but he also brought home a bunch of starter plants. And I was already so overwhelmed. I was like, I'm supposed to use this month to just get to know the plants that I already have. And now this is being thrown in my lap. That is why we are now here much later in the year already, and I have nothing to show for this vlog concept idea that I wanted to start in January. So I apologize, but we're gonna be kicking this off a little bit differently. First of all, yes, I will still be getting plants throughout the year. I'm just trying to take it month by month at this point because, again, like I said, we've had some casualties that we have to talk about. But I kind of want to break down my months and like where I was at, my headspace with these plants. And I still feel like there's so much more learning to do. So I want to like introduce each plant to you. Yes, I name my plants after female horror characters. So stay tuned for names. But also, I'm gonna be reading books, maybe not about plants. Maybe some will be about plants. I do have some on my radar that are about plants, but I thought I could read some books that also just feature some type of plant or greenery or something on the cover. And one that I still had not gotten to and I needed to get to for the Goodreads Choice Awards in horror was The Bewitching by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. It's on the screen for you guys because I still don't have a physical copy. I thought I was going to be able to get one from the library in time. I did not, so I did have to audiobook this one. So kind of for my January and February months, I read The Bewitching. I have read one other from Silvia in the past, and I couldn't even tell you guys what it's called. Silver Nitrate, I think was what it was called. I could be wrong on that, but it was the one about horror movies and kind of like the film, and it was good. It just wasn't amazing for me. And not gonna lie, starting this one, I was like, oh my God, I don't think this author's for me because her writing, while it can be so beautiful, it can also just get to a point where I'm just like, the story's not going anywhere. We're just like, I don't know. And it's weird because it's not like one setting. It doesn't take place in like one spot, but that's what it feels like with her writing. I'm like, this is so slow. I need it to do something. I definitely had to power through the first half. It is still interesting. I'm going to pull up my Goodreads to read the synopsis for you guys because I don't want to spoil anything. And honestly, this book is so confusing, especially consume this with a physical because the audiobook, I was like, oh my gosh, it jumps 3 different timelines. It's a multi-generational horror tale. 3 women across different eras grapple with danger and witchcraft. I love those aspects so much, but I'm not gonna lie. Like I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, I love the fact that we got these 3 different stories and they're all so interesting in so many ways, but I'm not gonna lie, reading this and I think really this really comes down to via audiobook. Where again, I wish I could have gotten my hands on a copy. I just kept saying in transit from my library. I didn't get it in time. But I wanted to keep reading. But yeah, we would jump from this point and this point and this point, and it would go from like the 90s and then like jump back way when, and I'd be like, wait, what happened the last time we left off? I don't know. And usually I'm not like that with these stories. I don't know if it was because there was 3 instead of like 2. It kind of threw me through a loop. And then sometimes we would be like ending a part and I'm like, no, I want more of their story. It weaves a tale where every secret uncovered brings creeping horror. Minerva, a graduate student, delves into the life of Beatrice Tremblay. I love the nods to Paul Tremblay. That was so cool. An obscure horror author and uncovers a true story behind Tremblay's famous novel, The Vanishing. As Minerva investigates, she feels a malevolent force that once haunted Tremblay and her roommate might still linger on campus. This force echoes the witch encounter Nana Alba, Minerva's great-grandmother, experienced in 1900s Mexico. Minerva fears this shadow threatens her now. An academic pursuit can be challenging, but it could become deadly when witchcraft is involved. I cannot read or speak clearly today. yeah, it was definitely Mexican folklore, which I love consuming so much. I love when authors bring that to the forefront. And this was their way of doing like a Mexican folklore witch tale. And I love that. Definitely read the afterword if you listen or read this book, because she kind of talks a little bit about it there too. But I love the aspect of this and it being something dark and sinister that's following these women and these places and how it transforms and what it does to each one of them. It was dark, and honestly, one of, like, they were all pretty good, but one of the reveals, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, whoa, hold on, Silvia, because you mean to say it's been so slow paced, at least for me, and just kind of like the day to day, like what they're up to. Obviously they're researching and like kind of diving into like some darker theme things, but it's still like very light horror and just more cozy vibes. And then it's like, bam, in your face. And I was like, wait, what just happened? Yeah, that alone had me so entertained and just so into the story. And I will say, like, once I reached like the 50% point, I definitely picked up. It felt like it was a lot more fast paced, and like the story just continued to flow from there. So I didn't really have a hard time after that. I wanted to know what was happening. And then when it started hitting, it was hitting, and I couldn't put it down, and I finished it in that one setting because I had set it down so much in the first half that that second half, flew through it. I had to know everything that was going on. And honestly, the way that she intertwined folklore and witchcraft and witches and like these dark things, I can't really say much because I don't want to spoil like what it is, but all of these aspects coming together, oh my God, so good. The story was so thought out. Everything from the beginning made so much more sense. It all just kind of clicks, and like, I feel like upon reread, I would love it even more than the first time reading it. It's such a beautiful tale of these three people and how their lives intertwine to even now, current day, which is like the 90s, what this third girl or woman is going through and her like research. And oh my gosh, it was so good. 5 stars. Definitely feel like I'm not really hit or miss because her books aren't a miss for me, but I feel like this one was definitely a hit, where the last one I was like, I needed something a little more than what I got. But I don't know, I'm really excited for some more Silvia Moreno-Garcia in the future, that's for sure. This is a book I put off for way too long, and I'm so excited I finally got to it. I'm back, you guys. It's long overdue. So long overdue. And we're just gonna roll with it because I was editing this video, seeing what I had of it, because it had been a minute since I filmed for it, and I was like, oh my God, Allie, all of your clips are so all over the place, rambly, boring. I am so sorry. So we're gonna try to turn this vlog back around, and today is perfect because I went to my local plant shop called the Dirt Shack, and they brew up tea for your plants. It's like very nutritious. I obviously need it because of the casualties we've had with my cats. So you bring in a jug and they give you this, which is so cool. But I also picked up a gallon of cacti soil, and I got 2 new plants. I literally said at the beginning of this video, I'm pretty sure I did. I know in my head I was thinking it. I'm like, no plants for March and April because you're gonna be focused on the garden, Allie. Like, you need to chill. And because I'm so behind on this vlog that January, I was supposed to be like just learning all of my new plants, and then all the plants behind me that you guys can barely see up in my window, I got, you know, from James, and then I got another one from a friend, and it's been plant after plant, and I still haven't done what I set out to do at the beginning. So that's what I'm doing today. I am going to be introducing to you guys some plants. We're going to see what condition they're in, what they need, repotting, new soil, And then I gotta figure out where I'm putting all of them. I have been doing a little bit of research. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. I'm trying to get better about it. I have some experimenting to do for sure. And I don't know what else I was gonna say. Besides, we're gonna take care of these plants and try to get them in better health and then get them in a place where my cats cannot get to them. This one over here that we'll talk about in a minute, this beauty, she used to have so many leaves, and she clearly like destroys her own leaves to grow up higher and to get more leaves, but she's lost like, I don't know how many leaves lately from my cats. And while we were gone today, supporting some small businesses, the plant shop, we went and got some lattes from a local like coffee shop. I went and picked up my library holds, stuff like that. Yeah, I had this plant because I was hiding it from my cats. I put it on my washer in my washing closet, closed the doors and everything, and he still got in there and gotten it and ripped 2 more leaves. Please send help. If you have plants and cats, what do you do? All right, let's get into it. First up, the gym. My pride and joy that I am now neglecting and taking such horrible care of. This is my aloe. This is an aloe vera plant. Clearly haven't filled this up in so long. She's been through it. It's kind of hard to see, but there's so much going on in here. This big one, I don't know if you guys can really see the view of this, but they're kind of all entangled. So we're going to separate her, but this big one, this was the one that I got. And I got this, I kid you not, probably close to 10 years ago at IKEA. It was a little bitty baby starter aloe vera plant, and I brought it home and I was like, yeah, this is probably gonna die. If it starts dying, I'm just gonna cut it up and use like the aloe, you know, but I'm like, I'm a ginger, I get sunburnt sometimes, I get hives and different things like that, and aloe is really good for your skin. And I definitely have clipped off of this to use for that, you know, if I get burnt in the kitchen or, you know, something like that. But you guys, okay, something that's really cool about this is that there's 4 aloe plants in this now. How cool is that? Aloe plants are just so cool. But I've been just using regular potting soil for this, and she deserves better. She's going to get some cacti soil today. But I've also, for the past, I would say year, I've had her right next to my air fryer. And I think to an extent, she's done okay. I think she actually likes the heat kind of radiating off of it, but not to the point to where her ends are literally getting crispy and falling off. So I moved my tea set, I don't know if you can see it, over there. I moved my tea set by the air fryer so that Miss Aloe can come over here on this counter by the Alexa instead of, oh, okay, she didn't go off, instead of being burnt by the air fryer every day. So we are going to, I don't know if I'm going to keep her in this or not. I'm going to look at my pots and decide. But we are going to change out the soil, so we're repotting her. I think I'm going to split up and have like 4 different ones. This poor thing is dying. This was another aloe starter that James got with the group of plants, but it hasn't been doing good from the get-go, and I think it's the soil they used. It's just not what aloe plants like, and I've just gotten extremely lucky with my aloe plant. I don't know how, because she is a fighter. She definitely is a fighter and a final girl, and that is why she's my favorite. This is Sidney Prescott. I named her after my favorite horror slasher, my favorite horror franchise, honestly. Scream is my favorite all-time movie, so I feel like my aloe plant that's been through it all with me has to be Sidney. If you skip the beginning of this because of my rambling, I'm so sorry, but I do name all of my plants after women in horror movies. Pretty cool. So that is Sidney, and we're gonna take care of her today. All right, I have spent the last like hour going through and collecting pots that I need for these because I have so much going on here. here. And now I just have tons of pots lined up on my counters and stuff. Definitely need more, so that's interesting. But I'm gonna try this. I don't know if it's gonna work out, but I have this cute little, it looks kind of like a bathroom decor moment, but that's okay. We're gonna use it as a plant pot. I put a little lining down in the base, and I'm just gonna put the soil in, and then I'm hoping, I don't know, I'm hoping that this, I gotta see what my roots look like in my aloe plant to see if she's gonna be okay in here. I'm thinking maybe I put the 3 smaller ones and maybe like this guy, if I can save him, in this, and then we can put that on the counter back there. And then the big one, maybe I put back in this one, and I don't know, I might move this pot to like my bathroom counter or something. I don't know. We're winging it. Some of this is just gonna be me repotting, and I will give you guys some music because I'll be here forever if I talk while I do this, because I'll just keep rambling. So I'm gonna have at least one glove on. I guess before I do that, my notes on Miss Sidney. First of all, I learned a lot from Monstro Farm on YouTube. They have a video called 7 Aloe Vera Plant Care Tips That You Need to Know. House Plant Care. Definitely subscribing because they have a lot of videos on different plants and they're only like 8 minutes long. And so yeah, while I was like gathering stuff, I kind of had it playing in the background. A lot of things I already know about this plant. It's just how my mental health is and if I choose to actually do those things or not. So definitely going to be changing out the soil because that's something that like I've figured for a while and I just never have cacti soil on hand. I always just have potting soil. So we're changing out her soil. With these, you never want to make them like super wet. I should have read spicy books for this. Yeah, you want it to be damp at most. And with watering and stuff, I am going to, I think this coming week, I'm going to I'm going to be watering most of them, I think today if they need it. And then I'm going to time it throughout the week and see like what we're at on watering. So I can kind of see, and I think I need to do that with each season just so I can get my watering routine and schedule in my phone. But yeah, keep it damp, don't overdo it. They do really love light. That's why I like having them on that side of the counter. I'm hoping they do okay on this side. But I will say they don't really, it's not that they don't care about direct sunlight. They do like direct sunlight. It's just you have to really watch it because like mine getting fried at the tips, and I think a lot of that was the air fryer. But getting fried at the tips and stuff like that can be also from direct sunlight too. So that's why kind of being in the sun, but maybe not direct, or put them in direct sunlight sometimes and then keep them away other times. They also are good houseplants because they like the temp to be anywhere from 60 to 80 degrees. And what I learned from that video is that their growing time and expanding time is spring and summer, which is perfect that I'm doing this now. But that's also when you have to water them more and to slow down more in the fall and winter with them. And I kind of tend to do that anyway, so I think that's just worked out for me. But yeah, let's get this bad boy repotted. plant to introduce you guys to. I do need to go get a little bit more potting soil, so I'm gonna do that really quick. This is her pot though, and she is gonna go right back in this. This one is a plant that is pretty special to me because my friend shared it with me. It was either her mom's or her grandma's that grew this Hoya plant all around her kitchen. I mean, it like covered her kitchen all around the top, and it was just gorgeous. And I just commented on it all the time, and she was like, do you want a clipping of that? And I was like, yes, I do. So I've had her for a little while now, and she's been doing rather good. I keep her up on my cabinets as well because I would love for her to expand and grow. Man, I didn't realize how long it was gonna take because I had her at my last house too. So I've had her at this house for over a year now, like a year and a half, and I feel like she's grown out a little bit. We do have new growth over here, so this is all new. I feel like this is the most I've gotten growth-wise from the past year. I was doing some research on Hoyas today, and these are also known as wax plants. And one thing that I have definitely neglected on with her is wiping her leaves down properly. I definitely, whenever I am watering her and stuff, I kind of brush over them a little bit, but I didn't know, like, if you're super detailed with them, that is one of the aspects or benefits to really help them flourish and grow and expand too, is keeping their wax leaves clean with just like a spray bottle of water and like a microfiber cloth. So I'm definitely going to incorporate that in every couple of weeks at least when taking care of her. I have just been doing potting soil with her. I definitely think I might switch to potting soil and cactus in the future because she likes to be soaked whenever she gets watered. She wants to be soaked and then she wants to be put back and left alone until she is dried out. Besides that, I feel like she's been thriving for the most part up on my cabinet. I've wondered if she's getting a little too much sun. Because the sun can burn out leaves, which I'm seeing a little bit of leaf damage, not a whole lot, but it can also stunt the growth. So I also don't know if that's an issue and maybe I need to rotate or move her around cabinets. Yeah, besides that, just like the last one, if you can cut underneath the nodes and propagate it like that, and that's how she did it for me, and she created one that, or she got one and then grew all these roots for me, and I've just been able to keep her alive here too. Besides that, they said to wherever you have her to rotate her. So like whenever I water her, I need to get better about wiping down her leaves and also rotating her so that she gets a good amount of sun. I just feel like rotating is so hard with how little she is. Not really little, but like I feel like she hangs just in one area. So I feel like she's probably getting a somewhat decent, you know, amount that way. But I kind of feel like what I've been doing with her so far has been working out. So I'm like, why change it? But yeah, this plant is in a trio with two other plants that I have. Whenever I'm naming them, I feel like I have to think about names that go along with them. My favorite horror show is Mike Flanagan's The Haunting of Hill House. I talk about it all the time because I love it so much. And there's three sisters in that show. There's Shirley, Theodora, and Eleanor. So I have three plants that I am naming after them. This one, I just feel like she's very dependable. She's very independent. Like she's just constantly just thriving and doing her thing. And even when I am being a horrible plant mom and forgetting to water when I'm supposed to, she just keeps kind of doing her thing and being stubborn in a way. It just reminds me of Shirley, the oldest sister on there. So this one is going to be named Shirley. They also call her Cheryl, so I might be doing that as well. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish out the potting soil so I can get her back up there where she belongs and get her a little bit of that plant tea as well. All right, so I have Miss Shirley in her pot. She has fresh soil. I'm gonna give her a little bit of the plant tea. Just looks like this in a jug. And then she is going back up top, thrive and be independent and do her thing. The next girl you guys get to meet, and I apologize for the horrendous lighting. It's been a day and I've been so busy, is this gem I keep talking about. You guys, she is a survivor. If she had a theme song, it would probably be Survivor by Destiny's Child, because she's been through it. Look at this leaf. Can you guys see that? All the bite marks? Yeah. I've had her for probably 3 or 4 years, and this is an Emerald Beauty, an aglaonema, I think is how you pronounce it. They're actually very common houseplants, and they're very easy to take care of. They can go through a lot, and I know that from experience. Yeah, I almost lost her years ago, and I had to just kind of figure out her watering, and that's gotten better. They don't like to be overwatered, but they like to have water. That's like the only tricky thing about these plants is the watering. It definitely is one where you just check the top 2 inches of soil, and if it's really dry, she needs a little bit of water. If not, just leave her, you know. Sometimes I let her get a little bit more dry just because I know if I overwater, oh my god, especially like in the fall and winter, just leave her be. I am going to be repotting her in a potting soil, but I think I'm going to throw in some cactus mix as well, just to help take some of the moisture, since she doesn't like to be, like, you know, immersed. I think it's going to help from the situation that I currently have going on. Everything that I've looked up about this says that she likes low light. I've had her in my living room by my bookshelf for a really long time, and she loves it there. She's not in direct sunlight, but it's indirect. Like, there's constant light coming through that front window on her. That's pretty much it. So the predicament that I'm in with this one, and why I wanted to show you guys this one without like a voiceover situation, is because it is her time to propagate. I have looked up videos, which I would like to shout out these people because they have helped me tremendously. So let me go through my history. I've watched so many plant videos recently. I believe, yeah, this one was from Everything Plants here on YouTube. How to fix a leggy stretch aglaonema with results and propagate. That is the video that I watched, and I'm pretty sure my cat peed in this today while we were gone. I literally had it in my laundry closet with the doors closed while we were gone, and they still somehow managed to open the door and jump up there, tear off a couple more leaves, and pee in it. Actually, I talked about this plant at the beginning of this video. The plant behind me was given to me by my momo. Worked really hard on keeping that plant alive, okay? Then I got cats. Now, wasn't she so pretty? So after I filmed that clip, literally like that day, she jumped back in it and tore like, I think 2 leaves. So it lost a couple leaves. And then today, my other cat got it in the thing. Yeah, I've just been babying this thing and moving it around, hiding it when we're not home, putting it on the back deck a couple hours a day since the weather's been a little nice. Doing what I can to keep this thing alive, but I'm pretty sure they peed in it. So now I need to throw away all of the soil and just try to save her at this point. So that's what I'm doing to propagate these. I am not a plant professional. Go watch their videos if you're doing this and you want to know all the facts, because I might mess up. But it does have these like nodes, and you just have to cut it at a node, and then you're good to go. You're gonna have 2 pieces of the plant. You're gonna have the leftover stem with roots that you're going to put in soil, and it will start growing more leaves again over time. So you'll just leave it be. I would just leave it be in this pot if they didn't pee in this. And then the top part of it that has the leaves that are remaining, you just stick in water. And I have a vase right here that I'm just gonna put it in water, and you do that for, I don't know, probably a couple weeks until it starts rooting, and then you stick it back in soil and you'll have 2 of them. Definitely is going to be a long process, but guess what? I'm taking you guys along with me all year. So I'm just gonna do it. I am so scared, but I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna take my clean kitchen scissors, and we're just gonna cut. I'm gonna get out the stem first because I wanna see like how long it is. We're gonna cut and then put part in water and then part in new cacti and potting soil mix, and I gotta find new places for them. I think since it's a stem, maybe they won't mess with it for a while, so I can just, you know, put it back. But anyways, that is the plan. And by the end of the year, we'll see how much progress this bad boy has given us. I guess I should say girl, which I don't think I told you guys her name. She's been through a lot, you know, like back to back to back. And for what reason? She's minding her business and just living life. And she just keeps being attacked and seeked out, if you will, by these cats. And for that, she is going to be named Grace. From Ready or Not. It's one of my favorite, like, newer horror movies, and she just seems like Grace energy. She just keeps fighting back and surviving. All right, I don't know what the best way to do this, but I literally don't want to keep any of the soil. I have fresh potting soil on my back deck, so I'm going to go out and do that part out there, and I have a little bit of cacti soil left from today. I have been using quite a bit of it, so I'm gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna dump this in my trash and just grab onto the plant. Again, I am not a professional. Okay, but you know what? Her roots, they're looking fab. I'm just gonna set her over there for a minute so that I can kind of rinse this out really good and then put it outside. When I tell you guys that my kitchen is covered in dirt, like, I mopped 2 days ago. You can't tell. There is just dirt everywhere. Right, this is what we're working with. Down at the bottom, I will say it's starting to yellow a little bit, so I do want to be very mindful and careful about that. I don't know where I should cut this. They were just saying as long as it's at a node, it'll be okay. So I think I might just go that low. I don't know if that's too low, but I want this to be long enough to go down into the water and the vase. Maybe like right there, so that we have maybe at least like an inch or so sticking out of the soil. Oh my God, I don't want to do this. Okay, just gotta do it. Ah! That was so dramatic. I was like, man, this thing's tough to, like Grace, tough to cut through, and then it was like just so easy. Okay. She's been through even worse now. I'm gonna put her in just some regular water, but I'm also going to pour in a little bit of that plant tea. Why not? I don't know how much she's going to enjoy that, so I might have to end up moving her because there is quite a bit of sunlight in that window. All right, and then I'm going to go put potting soil and a little bit of the cacti into that pot so I can stick this in there, and then we will be done with Miss Grace. These are the roots that we have. I am just gonna put them down in that soil mix. I'm going to try the tinfoil trick with my cats. You can, some people say it works, putting tinfoil up on the, like, in here. That's what I'm gonna do to try to keep them from going to the bathroom, at least in this. It's not gonna be the prettiest look, but you know what? You gotta do what you gotta do. And I'd rather keep my plant alive. I will say, I tried putting tinfoil around the bottom of my Christmas tree, but my cats wouldn't leave that alone, and it did not work. So I don't know if it's gonna work for this or not. She is not gorge anymore, but that's okay. She will get to be beautiful again. Back at it with a book for you guys. For this month, I read Root Rot. This is by Saskia Nislow, I believe. It says, come meet the liar, the secret keeper, the crybaby, and the rest. 9 children travel with their families to their grandfather's vacation property where strange things begin to happen. Eyes blink from the bottom up. Mushrooms ooze blood. People's faces don't hang right anymore, except they do, once you look more closely. Transformations warp the children's sense of time and place, the very land itself seeming to encroach upon them. As the liar watches the children succumb one by one to an unknown fate, she must make sense of an absent stars in the sky, vials of amber liquid that taste of milk, a funny little rope tied in knots. She's faced with a choice, join or resist, only the choice is not so simple. It also says that Root Rot explores predatory family dynamics, the boundaries of bodies and homes, and how individuals choose to participate in or push back against structures that would harm them. Look, I love what this book was trying to do. It felt very Cassandra Naw. If you ever read some of her stories, it felt very Cassandra Naw meets Shauna Maguire. And while I haven't explored enough of Cassandra's work to know if it's really for me or not, the ones that I have are such dense reads for being such short stories, and sometimes they can be rather confusing or using way too many metaphors to get a point across, and that's heavy on this story in particular. But I liked the fact that we have these mysterious children. Like, are they children? Are they animals? Like, I kept feeling like they weren't actually humans, but I think they are. But I like how their identities were like hidden behind these, you know, nicknames that they're called for their personality traits. And it felt almost in a way like I was reading one of the Wayward Kids books or children books from Shauna Maguire, because we have these unreliable narrators that we're kind of like following, and that aspect of it was kind of fun, and it kind of made it a little bit more whimsical, but at the same time it's trying to portray this dark story or metaphor to get across these heavy topics that sometimes I feel like you just need to like slap me in the face with. Like, you don't need to hold back and use like these metaphors, and I feel like sometimes it works. In this case, for me, I felt a little triggered by it in a way of just wanting them to express what they were trying to get across without using the pretty metaphors or the not so pretty metaphors, and it just being like, then just say it how it is, or just put it out there how it is. I feel like this could work for a lot of people. I just feel like this was like a personal preference for me where it didn't land as well for me, but it was a very short novella read. So I am glad that I got to it. I really wanted to read this book for my plant vlog because of the cover and how gorgeous it is. But yeah, I kind of wish it was more of a actual plant horror besides just some mushrooms oozing blood. I am landing at a 3-star, unfortunately, but it still wasn't, that's not a bad rating, you know? I liked it, but it's not a new favorite for sure. But I cannot wait to jump into my next plant book. So I talked about Shirley earlier, who is one of the sisters from The Haunting of Hill House, and she's very independent and stubborn and sturdy, reliable, dependable. Now we have her younger sister, Theodora, who I'm going to be calling Theo. And Theo is just she has a lot going on. She's dealing with a lot, but she does a lot of it in her own way, and she takes care of a lot of people around her, being a therapist or counselor type of ordeal, and I am a psychiatrist. She does a lot for others, and at the same time, I feel like in a way is very independent too and doing her own thing, and these are said to be some of the easiest plants. I'm not gonna lie, I've killed some snake plants, but I'm trying again. People say snake plants are the easiest plants, and you know, for me, they've kind of had their issues, but at the same time, they're really good for you. They're a good like air purifier, and they're just absolutely stunning. I've always wanted some, so I was glad that this happened to be one of the ones James brought home. And this one's actually grown quite a bit if you see the before picture from January when we got it. It's been thriving and doing really good, but today I did repot it in some cacti soil. I think it'll do better for Miss Theo. There is a little bit of potting soil in here too. I did a little bit of a mix because we do want to have some water. We want to retain some water, but not too crazy. These plants love, love, love light, and they will not grow. Like these plants, they grow up so tall and wide and huge. That's what she said. But they will not grow without their light. So I am thinking about keeping Miss Theo in my window for now, at least until I find a spot I really like her to be. You're also supposed to repot her in a bigger pot whenever she stops growing. So I feel like she has much more room now to grow in this. And you also are supposed to keep her leaves clean. And yeah, she's a cutie. She's part of the succulent family. And unfortunately, besides aloes, I just tend to kill every succulent I've owned. So I'm hoping with the proper soil and information, everything I'm taking in, I'm hoping I can keep her alive. Staying on trend with the sisters from The Haunting of Hill House. Next up, I have these two plants. These are the youngest sister, who is my favorite, Eleanor. We will be calling her Nelly. So she is a purple wandering Jew plant. There's a lot of different wandering Jew plants, and I heard that this one is called Zabrina or Zabrina, something like that, because of the stripes on it, making it kind of look a little bit like a zebra, but it's beautiful and purple, and the more sunlight it gets, the more purple and like vibrant it is. I just used regular potting soil when repotting these, and they're the type that like to be kept watered. She likes her moisture for sure. You want to check the first 2 inches, and if it's dry, water her. She loves the light. This is a plant that actually thrives outside in the spring and summer as well. So I don't know, I might try it since I have 2 of them. I might try to maybe put one outside. And just like some previous ones I've talked about, you can also clip these under the nodes to propagate. And when I see people's wandering Jew plants, they are everywhere. They are so gorgeous. They can bunch up so big to look like these huge bushes. They are so beautiful. I would love to have some of those to like put in hanging baskets on my porch. That's future goals for sure. But yeah, these I think are some of my favorite that I have because I just love the purple so much. Now we're going to talk about Laurie. It would not be complete with Scream Queens if I didn't include Laurie from Halloween. Jamie Lee Curtis is an icon. She is still an icon. But this is a spider plant. They are another ones that people just say are so easy to have. You just gotta do the proper, care, and they just really thrive and do their own thing. I've had this for a couple of months now, and my God, she has grown. She is thriving and expanding, and she's already dropping babies. So they will sprout these extra lines and start to bloom. You can kind of see it's late now, but in the mornings and when she's in the sun, there's little white flowers that are blooming on her, and it's so pretty. I was like, oh my gosh, I did not know this bloomed or that it's gonna flower. And then I started looking it up, and everybody was saying whenever they stalk out like that and start flowering, it means that they're producing new ones, and you can see the little babies on the end, and they get bigger, and when they get bigger you can take them off and put them in their own pot to keep or give to somebody, and that's just so cool. I just did a little bit of potting soil and cacti soil mixed with her just to kind of try, because she is the type that likes to dry out completely before she's watered again, so I want to keep that in mind. She also loves light, but not direct sunlight. But besides that, all of her instructions are so easy. This is just one that I'm terrified to have around my cats because they're gonna just shred her. So I gotta be very careful with her placement, but she is absolutely stunning. I love her. Oh my God, you guys, I was so excited. You give me a Kingfisher book, I'm a happy girl. This is Wolfworm. I got this from Book of the Month, surprisingly. Me and Book of the Month, we're beefing again. It's been a rough couple of months selection-wise. But I did get this one, and I was really excited. I just can't remember if this was an actual book pick that month or if this was an add-on. I think it was an add-on. Anyways, I've read quite a bit from Kingfisher. I love their work so much. I more so am a fan of the horror. I really haven't dabbled in all of their work, but at this point, I feel like anything Kingfisher puts out, I want to read, so it's on my TBR. This one, however, this is, I love the quote, "I saw the devil in these woods. Something darker than the devil stalks the North Carolina woods and Wolfworm." It is a gothic story, and I feel like T. Kingfisher, when it says gothic, it's gonna be gothic. It's gonna be so good. This is about Sonia Wilson. She is a talented scientific illustrator, but only able to follow her dream because of her father's reputation as a renowned scientist. Sorry, I have like a fruit fly or something. Leave me alone. Which is kind of scary after this book. After his death, she is left without work, prospects, or hope. Such is the lot in life for a woman in science in 1899. So on top of that, it's historical fiction, which I also feel like T. Kingfisher just has such a way with writing historical fictions and characters in general. So when the reclusive Dr. Hadlers offers her a position illustrating his vast collection of insects, Sonia jumps at the chance to move to his North Carolina manor house and put her talents to use. Once there, she encounters dark happenings in the Carolina woods and even darker questions. What happened to her predecessor? Why are animals acting so strangely? What is behind the particular local whispers about blood thieves? With the aid of the housekeeper and a local healer, she discovers that Hadler's entomological studies have taken him down a twisted road. His groundbreaking discoveries come at a cost, one that Hadler is paying with human flesh. If Sonia can't find a way to stop the monstrosity, she may be next under the knife. This one, I will say, it's a rather short read, but it is a slow burn. It's also very, very detailed. I feel like this feels like, and I don't know, so you can't quote me on this, I don't know T. Kingfisher, like, I wish we were friends, but we have never met. But this feels like the type of story that they got like somehow like dropped or jumped in a tunnel of insect research. Like this author like started watching a video on YouTube about insects or something, and next thing you know, like it's like the black hole of it. Like you're at the end of YouTube and you've watched everything you can about something. Like you can just tell with the writing that they were obsessed with all of the ins and outs of insects and really studying them. And sure, there could be some stuff that's made up in here. I will never know, but I just love the way that things were described in here. I loved being in Sonia's head too, and the fact that, okay, one, you know, she's going to live with like the scientist who's writing this book about all of these different insects and flies and stuff like that. Cool. We're going to learn about different insects and flies. Cool. Like, I'm here for it. But the fact that she is an illustrator for them, she's the person, Sonia, she's the person who draws all of these insects, because back then they didn't have like the means to just like photograph everything. So she goes to his house and like he just has a bunch of these drawers, and I'm just thinking like this room is the most beautiful, magnificent, probably like a little dusty, crusty as well, you know, of like oddities, curiosities, all that kind of stuff. Probably has like butterflies and moths pinned on the wall, like just so gorgeous. Probably plants everywhere. Some of them might be dead because this guy isn't a great person, but this room has to be so cool. And like he has these different drawers where there's these bugs, and she gets to study them and look at them and then paint or draw them, and it's just, oh, I love it. Dream job. Anyways, that is what she's doing for him, but she's also uncovering these like dark things that are going on that involve the insects. And when I tell you, T. Kingfisher does not hold back with this one. It is so gross. So gross. I was cringing at times. I was disgusted. But it's so good. And at the heart of it, I just really loved these characters so much. Like I was so invested for them and wanting to know their outcome and what was going to happen, and just the way everything like wrapped up, and the friendships, or like the, not really friendship, but more like the bonds of Sonia and the others in the story were just like really well done. Like, it's hard to say this is such a beautiful story when really it's so gross, but like it just really is. It's such a good time. And like, I get this isn't full on plant for my plant vlog. Like it's bugs, you know, but I can appreciate the greenery. I can appreciate the descriptions of the woods and all of the plants and things like that throughout this. And this has been a real winner for me. I also really love the Bewitching. It was a great one for me. I think like root rot just lost me a little bit. So I kind of needed something to kind of like make me excited for this vlog and to keep reading. And this did it. I loved it so much. 5 stars. To another tea Kingfisher, and if you want to recommend me my next tea Kingfisher, I would love to know. But I also wanted to include somewhere in this video, if you've made it this far, thank you, I appreciate you so much. Recommend me some books, because I have officially decided upon editing the first part of this that this is going to be at least a 2-part series. So for the rest of this year, I'm going to be reading one plant, like just a book that has some type of greenery plant on the cover. It could even be flowers, I don't mind. But yeah, all in all to say, please leave me some recommendations because I have 6 more to get to. I definitely have some that I'm thinking about, and there's some new releases coming out that have that vibe on the cover that I'm really intrigued by. But if you can recommend me something that I haven't read before, that really like intrigues me, I definitely will try to pick it up for the next part of my plant journey. Now I'm going to talk to you guys about 2 plants, okay? So these are the last, I think the last 2 that I got from James in January. This one, I can't even pronounce its name. I'm going to put it on the screen for you guys. But it's also called the Purple Heart. Side note, this is one I've got to be careful with because these are very, very toxic to not only humans, but pets too. So she will definitely be in a hanging basket or somewhere up high where my cats cannot get to her. But she is absolutely stunning. She did bloom already, but it is kind of like died out a little bit. She's been a little bit of a trickier one to gauge like water-wise. My Carolina Garden on YouTube is who I watched, and if you guys go to her video about her purple hearts, she has them everywhere, like all outside. They are another one that just like overtake, and they're stunning. So I cannot wait for that. So they can be inside outside plants. And I also didn't know that this is a part of the succulent family, which is kind of terrifying because from previous clips, you guys, you know, I've told you I'm horrible plant mom when it comes to succulents. So I'm a little scared. That is why I put cacti soil in her, and just like snake plants, she is an air purifier. So that is really exciting to have another one in the house. She loves light, and the more light she is, the more purple she is. This lady, she brought out her ones from inside and showed them next to the outside ones, and the outside ones were like 10 times more vibrant and just dark and purple than the ones that are inside. So I definitely want to make sure she gets a lot of light. She actually will probably stay in this window because my cats don't mess with my plants in the window. So that's probably where I will end up putting her, so she gets enough sunlight too. And she's just so stunning. She is like that bitch. So this is Jennifer from Jennifer's Body, which means the other one that I'm showing you guys, which is a succulent that is going to be intense for me to take care of and keep alive, because especially this kind, the little petal types that you start with, these starters, I kill every time. I've tried it multiple times, you guys, and I can't keep them alive. I don't know what it is. There was actually 3 in this and I've already killed 1. So any tips on succulents, because now I have a bunch of them, please let me know, because I'm having a really hard time. I'm wondering if I need to have like some humidifiers or little mist things close by with them, or if I need to do like the stones or like pebbles on a dish with water underneath them thing to kind of get the humidity to go up. I'm down to try some different things, but I just feel like this one's going to be very needy, which is why this is Anita, Needy from Jennifer's Body. We love her, we want to keep her, and we hope that she thrives, but I really need her to be the fighter that I know Needy can be. Yeah, this is just a regular little succulent. I have it in cacti soil as well. Loves being in the sun. It's another one that you kind of want it to like dry out. This is what everybody says, and this is what I try to do. But you want it to dry out before you water it again. But sometimes my succulents start to dry out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not watering enough. And then I'll water them a little bit more, and then they start getting squishy, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm watering them too much. Yeah. it's a lot, but I'm determined this time to keep her alive and watch her thrive. I did see that like if you don't give them enough sunlight, they start to grow. Like once they form together, they start to grow up and they stretch like towards the light, like, please, I want the light. I think that that is really cool, but I will definitely be giving her a bunch of sunlight. They get to stay together and live together in my window for now. Hello, you guys. I look wild today. I tried to like dress up and then I was like, I'm not doing my hair. So it's days old curls and just frizz at this point. But I am back with another book that features some type of floral, greenery, plant type cover. Today I'm talking about Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson. This book, this is a novella, first off. I was able to get the audiobook through my library Hoopla app. I will say the first like 20 minutes of it, I wasn't vibing with the narrator, but then I loved it. So I think just like push through and then you just kind of get accustomed to it, I guess. I don't know. It was weird, but I ended up really liking it. And then I felt like I couldn't not listen to the audiobook. So I kind of did a little bit of a tandem, but it is a novella. So whether you read it or have the audio, it goes pretty fast. I think it's under 300 pages. It's barely over 200 pages. So there you go. Either way, shout out to my library for both the audio and the physical. And if this cover wasn't already stunning, look at the inside, you guys. How beautiful. I want my own copy of this. It is just absolutely stunning. And I love that there's like all of these florals, but there's like hidden cupcakes. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's hidden cupcakes in it, which is part of the story. Rosemary meets Ash at the farmer's market. Ash is precise, pretty, and practically perfect. She sells bars of soap and delicate pastel colors, sprinkle spackled cupcakes stacked on scalloped stands, beeswax candles, jelly jars of honey, and glossy green plants. Ro has never felt this way about another woman. With Ash, she wants to be her and have her in equal measure. But as her obsession with Ash consumes her, she may find she's not the one doing the devouring. Told in lush, delectable prose, this is a deliciously dark tale of passion taking an unsavory turn. It's so much fun too. I feel like that's what I have found with Delilah S. Dawson, is that her novellas are just so fun and fast-paced, but like jarring at the same time. Like they can be so sweet and simple and then just like bam, out of nowhere. And it literally gets me every single time because I'm just like, oh my God, you know? And she is another author that really doesn't hold back, and I really like that about her with the ones that I have read. She has a new one coming out this year that I'm really excited about. I think it's called like Monstera, if it's not already out, and I definitely will be picking that one up. I love that at the core this is an obsession story, and I just love obsession stories so much that I feel like almost using this like witchery and this woman's like produce and like what she is making is just, oh my gosh, it's incredible. It really draws in the characters and you're kind of being drawn in with the main character, and I love that. And I also love that at its core too, it's about this person who is imperfect. She is human and just trying to navigate life, but also the metaphors of falling for someone and what it can actually do to you mentally too, to almost to an extent of, you know, sickness of being so obsessed with somebody. Whether it is in a witchery type way or not, it's still just pure horror at how fast Ro falls. And I feel like these stories can go so many different ways, but I really like what Delilah did with this. And I feel like she's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be unhinged, but like not unhinged like you think. It's gonna be like like the bar's here, but I'm going here with it. That's what it felt like, because I never would have guessed that we were going to go that far with this. I knew that there was obviously something more than just this girl falling for this other girl. I was like, there's some type of spell, there's some type of cast on her right now, but to go there with it. I also really, really love the different talks about plants. Ro talks about how she can't keep plants alive. And she's like, I mean, they say you can't even kill snake plants. I've killed snake plants. And our girl Ash is like, take this snake plant home. Don't water it for a week. And she's like, what? She's like, neglect it. And then she's like, and then come back to me in a week at the farmer's market and let me know how it's going. But you have to promise me you're going to neglect it. And so I love that there was also plant talk in this. And the like description of Ash's like greenhouse and all of that. The vibes for the plant vlog were immaculate with this one. Insane. Anyways, 5 stars. I really, really have enjoyed every single Delilah S. Dawson I've read and need to check out what I'm missing from her lineup. 2 more plants that I've had for quite some time now. Let's talk about them. This one, oh my gosh, I really hope my friend never finds my YouTube videos and watches this, because she will be devastated at the state of this plant. But I am determined to, you know, try my best to bring her back to life. This was another cat casualty. I couldn't even tell you what this plant is called. I have no idea. I might have a picture from my camera roll, but my friend, she brought over, she's also like technically like my boss. She brought over a couple little things for Valentine's Day for me, and a plant was one of them. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, I love plants. And then, yeah. I've had it up on my bookshelf and it was looking so good. It was one where my cats couldn't get to it, but every time I get her down to water her, I leave her on my sink so that she can like drain properly in the pot that she was in. And during that time, every single time my cat would jump up and bite a leaf. And you think that I would learn my lesson. This last time, my cat took it even further. There is no leaves. Like, there's nubs. So I couldn't even tell you what this plant is, but I am naming it Tatum for a couple different reasons that I don't really want to say, but also one of them anyways. But the other reason is because I love Tatum from Scream 1. She... and my heart is a final girl. I loved her so much, and it's a shame. She wanted to be in the sequel so bad, and she didn't get the sequel. And sorry, spoiler to anybody who hasn't seen the first Scream movie. But again, like I've said before, where have you been? Why have you not watched the first Scream movie? But we love Tatum in this house, and I'm going to name it that, and I'm going to fight to bring her back to life. She definitely looks like she's been through a doggy door on a garage, and yeah, you know how that one ends. So when she grows out and she blooms fully and I can figure out what she is, I will let you guys know, and I will hopefully have like really good updates with this girl in the future. This one, you guys, she's just survived. She is a survivor. I don't know how. I have done nothing to this snake plant. It could possibly be dead for all I know. It does have roots on the bottom, but the roots look horrendous. I repotted it in cacti soil today, and it is surrounded by my snake or sandworms that I created with clay and painted. Yeah, she's kind of just sat on a bookshelf, and it's just a vibe, but I really don't know if she's alive or dead, but she looks really pretty, and I don't know. I was telling James, like, I couldn't tell you the last time I've watered her. Like, it's so bad. I forget about her, but she's just there doing her thing. And because of that, I named her Astrid from Beetlejuice, because obviously the sandworms, but it's not that I forget about Astrid. It's just when I think about Beetlejuice, I always just think about the first, and how iconic it is. And I do like the second one. I think that they did a really good job, but I had to give it to a Beetlejuice character. I was like, I can't name this Lydia or Delia. Like, there's just no way. So it is Astrid. But with that being said, today we went to the little plant shop that I talked about earlier in the video, and I got a couple new plants, and I did repot them. I took them out of the little pots they came in and put them in their new homes. Also figured out what they were. I really wish that the little nursery had like the names next to them. But this is a red Fittonia. They're also like, I think called like vein plants or something like that. But yeah, it is called, I think it was really cool that it was called red, because me and James were talking about it. I was like, it does look more pink, but it's a darker pink, so it almost looks like a red, but they're actually called red Fittonia. So sorry, my cat is like jumping to a bug on the window right now. He's so entertained though. I put her in regular potting soil because that's kind of like what they had her in already. And I found out that she likes to stay very moist. I'm sorry if you hate that word. She also loves light, and I heard that she was also very pet friendly. So yeah, and it's just so cute. This was an old candle holder I had, so I just stuck her in there for now. She is definitely gonna outgrow this super fast, but for now, she's a cutie. And she's just gorgeous, and because of that, this is gonna be Delia. And I am so excited to have one to kind of honor Catherine O'Hara, because it makes me so sad that we lost her this year. But yes, I now have a Delia, and this is Lydia. The other one I got today. It just made sense that since I got these two today together, that it'd be Delia and Lydia. And just so happened that I named this one Astrid, so it just worked out perfectly. But this one is a Ronia or something like that. But they're also, there's different ones of them, and this one is called String of Turtles, which I love. If you're new on my channel, I love turtles. Years ago, I had like little water turtles that I had for years, and I was gutted when they died. It was really, really hard. I've always loved turtles. I'm the type of person that I'm like, I want a tortoise. Like, I want to raise a tortoise and put that on my great grandchildren because they live forever. But I love that so much that these are called String of Turtles, and that is what I'm going to be calling this plant. But yeah, also Lydia. This one is a semi-succulent. Really hoping I can keep it alive. I have had a plant similar like this in the past that did not survive. That was one of the ones that did not survive back then. But it's just so pretty. They become really full, almost like the string of pearls. And so I would love to put her in like a hanging basket or crochet thing in the future. I put potting soil and cacti. I was getting kind of low on my cacti, so I did a little bit of a mixture with this. You're only supposed to water when the first 2 inches are dry. Like bright light, but like indirect. I watched Succulents Box on YouTube, Best Tips, How to Take Care of String of Turtles. And it was very helpful. It said that you're supposed to repot it once a year in spring and clean the leaves every couple of weeks, which is going to definitely be a task because I feel like I've already lost so many leaves just in the repotting. They're so fragile, and I feel like I just see like little turtle leaves everywhere. So yeah, I'm gonna baby her a little bit. But yeah, they're so cute. My new additions that I said I wasn't gonna get, but that's it. I really am gonna focus on showing you guys garden content and stuff for future clips and future vlogs. And I feel like this one is so long with how many plants I've introduced that you guys might see this video sooner rather than later than I had planned. But yeah, it has been a long day of repotting and I am exhausted. I read Eat the Ones You Love by Sarah Marie Griffin. This one was quite the time. I did tandem read this physical from my library, and I also was able to get the audio from my library Hoopla app. So once again, shout out to my library. I want to mention that because I found the audio to be a lot of fun. This book isn't really broken up by chapters per se. They're not numbered. So like when it starts a new chapter, you just have this little plant hanging down and that's it. And that's like how the chapter starts. There's not really numbers. So doing a tandem is really hard because I like to tandem read where I will sit down and read and then be like, oh, laundry's done. I need to go fold laundry. I'm gonna continue listening because usually I'll listen while I read, you know? And then I'll get up to go do laundry. Well, obviously I can't physically read it while I fold laundry. So I'm gonna set the book down and keep listening. But once that laundry's folded and whatever, if I put it away at this point, I come back and it's like, oh, it's at the beginning of a new chapter, like, or, you know, I can find it a little bit better because of having chapters where this type of book was not. So I did find my place a few times and then would tandem read with it, but for the most part, I just kind of had to stick to audio because it was one or the other. There is also sections, so sometimes when it would get to a certain section, like more towards the end, there was like, okay, I'm not finding one, but like you would turn a page. Yeah, this one is just called Shoot. And so like, obviously it was easy for me to find where I was at after that. But yeah, anyways, just wanted to mention that because I know some people also like don't really care for that and just like, you know, chapters. Anyways, this is my first book from Sarah, and obviously the cover for this plant video is absolutely perfect, stunning. This was definitely one that I wanted to get to for a little while now, so I'm so glad I finally picked it up. I love Venus flytraps. I just want to go get Venus flytraps now. I seen some kits at the craft store the other day and I was like, could I keep them alive? Also, the detail on the inside of this is really cool. But yeah, this is about this girl named Shell. After losing her job and her fiance and moving back from the city to live with her parents, Shell Pine needs some help. And according to the sign in the window, the florist shop in the small mall does too. Shell gets the gig and the flowers she works with there are just the thing she needs to cheer up. Or maybe it's Nev, the beautiful shop manager who is making her days so rosy. But you have to get your hands dirty if you want your garden to grow, and Nev's secrets are as dark and dangerous as they come. In the back room of the flower shop, a young sentient orchid actually runs the show, and he is hungry, and he has a plan for them all. When the choices are to either bury yourself in the warmth of someone else's fertile soil or face the cold and disappointing world outside, which would you choose? And what if putting down roots came at the cost far higher than just your freedom? This one was about obsession and possession, if you will. Yeah, this orchid, he is like in all of the plants and like controlling things, and like if you take a plant home with you, he's there. And what I really found interesting was that we have quite a few POVs in this. We have our main girl Shell, who is just trying to like get back on her feet and figure out something for her future, and she gets this new job that she loves and adores, and she's weirdly obsessed with Nev from the get-go. And it's also kind of like her gay awakening in a way, and kind of goes into a little bit of like this like sapphic love story. But we then get to see Nev kind of being controlled by said sentient orchid, although I don't know why it's like a Venus flytrap. I think just because he's like a part of all the plant system there, if you will. Also, this is set in a mall, like her flower shop's in a mall. It's a dying mall, so it's taking on that aspect. It felt kind of like Forbidden Fruits in a way because of the mall atmosphere, and like all of the workers at the mall will like get together and like talk about how like, oh, well, this shop just closed, like we're one step closer to this just being over, you know? And I don't know, I don't want to say too much more about why it reminds me of Forbidden Fruits. I just thought it was really weird that it did, and I just recently did that vlog on it. But I liked the setting of this a lot. I liked the flower shop horror vibe. I liked that we got this like decaying mall because it's just so, in my area at least, I have one mall like an hour and a half away from me, it's closed down because of our bad tornadoes last year. And it's just wasn't popping enough for them to like really focus on it and like rebuild it. It's so sad. And then there's a mall like another hour and a half away from us, and it actually stays pretty steady, but like it's not the same vibe as like when we were kids, you know? But it's still like when I go there, it's like childhood, and it's just thinking about that mall closing would be so sad to me. But again, it feels like that's a near future thing, because anywhere else I've went into a mall, it is like dead. And there's just part of me that's like so sad about it, but I guess that's online shopping. Anyways, all that to say, I just really liked the setting of the mall too. I liked those elements. I wish I liked the characters more than I did. I found them to be rather repetitive, boring. I don't know. I couldn't really connect with them enough to feel anything. So because of that, I liked that we jumped POVs a lot from the women we follow to then we would jump POV to the plant himself and be in his head. And I actually liked his head more because he was sinister and like had these ulterior motives. And it was always kind of like ominous and like suspenseful, because you're just like, what is he planning? Yeah, overall, it was a fun time. I feel like this was a really good one for my plant vlog because we actually got plants and not just a plant cover. Like, this story is about plants, about a certain plant who is taking over people and doing vile things. So amazing for that. But halfway through, 75% of the way through, the story lost me a lot. I just wanted either more gore or more action, and it just felt a little bit more drama heavy than what I wanted. I do kind of like how it like wrapped up. I think that it was satisfying in a way, but yeah, I just kind of wanted a little bit more from this, but it was still a great time. Great book, landing at a 4-star. Yeah, glad it's another plant one I could check off my list. Now I wanted to introduce you guys to the star of the show. Well, I guess you could say she's the star of the show in like December, January for sure. Definitely need to clean these pots more. This is who was formerly known as my Christmas cactus, but I have been informed by YouTube videos today. Hold on. Garden Answer on YouTube. She has a video, how to care for Christmas cactus. And I was informed by her today that I, in fact, do not have a Christmas cactus. There's actually Christmas cactus, there's Thanksgiving cactus, and there's also Easter cactuses, or cacti. The Easter ones look really different. The Thanksgiving and Christmas ones look very similar, but how to tell them apart is the Christmas ones are a little bit more rounded, and the spiky ones, like we have going on right here, means that this lovely girl is a Thanksgiving cactus, which is kind of cool because my birthday is right around Thanksgiving. I'm a Sagittarius. Which I feel like Miss Pearl could definitely be a Sagittarius. Oh, if you didn't know, this is Pearl. And also, sometimes my birthday falls on Thanksgiving, so I just think it's kind of cool. But Miss Pearl wants to be a star. She wants to be the star. And so I think that this is perfect for her because she's just a pretty easygoing plant. I have repotted her into cacti potting soil, and I think that that's going to do her wonders. I've also moved her to a little bit of a bigger pot. I was going to separate her because there is like 2 of hers in this, but those roots are so entangled that I'm terrified to rip her roots and lose them all and kind of scramble. There was a casualty during potting, so it kind of worked out. Now I do have 2 pearls. I just put one in a smaller one to start, you know, propagating, doing its thing, rooting, and then Miss Pearl is in this one. I need to clean her leaves a little bit, but all of these type of cacti are very similar when you take care of them. So that's a a bonus. And I've done a pretty good job. This was a gift from my mother-in-law, and I've done a really good job at keeping her alive. I will say, I can't lie, I had like, I think 4 of them total, and 2 of them died. And I have no idea what I did wrong. This one has been thriving, and then the other one that I still had, I gave to a friend. So, although I feel like she's been one of my easiest plants to keep, obviously I killed 2, so that says something, and hopefully I don't kill this one. Learning about her, there is a lot you have to know about these, so I took some notes. They do not like wet roots at all. So I have pebbles. I use like these little pebbles for draining, but this pot also has a draining hole. She likes to be watered and then like let her dry out, and before you water her again. She does love light, but not like direct sunlight. If she gets too much sunlight, she starts turning pink on the ends. And actually, I found out today isn't like the best for them to do that. It could also be like overwatering, and mine does have a little bit of pink on the ends. And I mean pink on the ends when she's not in bloom. These you're supposed to pot after their blooms, so or when they were supposed to bloom if they didn't bloom. And so if you're repotting them, it's best to do it in the spring and summer. These are pretty easy to propagate because you literally just have to pop them off, and then you got a new plant. I did see where you're supposed to let them like sit out, and I'm almost thinking about just pulling it out of the soil and letting it sit. If it doesn't start rooting, I might do that. Honestly, if I lose it, it's okay. I'm kind of just experimenting at this point and seeing what happens with it. Besides that, you guys, these do bloom, and that is when she is the star of the show. I never had one bloom. I didn't know how. My friend told me, oh, my mom sticks hers in like a dark room for months and then it blooms. And I was like, really? Like, that's so weird. And, you know, every year it's not something that like I think about a lot. I know I got to get better about it. I'm going to set like a reminder. I think this like accountability with you guys in my videos too will definitely help, because I want to see if I can get her to bloom again. Because this last year, I had her up in this window, and I'm thinking, they say that it needs 12 to 14 hours every day in cool areas that are dark. And I think with like the time change in the fall and winter, having more dark outside than light. And honestly, the only reason this overhead light is on is because I'm filming this video. Otherwise, it is dark in my house. We use lamps, okay? We are a low light house. We like our natural lighting, and then we just like the cozy dark. So I think she just had enough time in the window to be dark, and she was kind of by the window, which probably was a little bit cooler because it was cold outside, that she just had enough time and she bloomed. Like, I'll show you guys pictures, but I was just amazed. She was so beautiful. That was, this is her in January. She had so many blooms and she just kept blooming. It was so pretty. I definitely am going to try again this year. And I think I am going to like actually find a spot closed away for like 12 to 14 hours a day. Maybe I just put her away, or like in a cabinet or something at night. I want to try something because I want to see if I can get her to bloom like even bigger and like every single, you know, branch. But she is looking gorgeous. We love Pearl. And I will probably be sticking this one back up in the window, but I'm not sure if she wants to keep being in the window or not, because her ends are getting rather pink. And I don't want that to like mess up any type of growth that we will see. So yeah, that is Pearl. And now we've reached the end of this weird video. I know it's different. It's not my typical reading vlogs or even themed vlogs, but I really just wanted to find these beautiful covered books that have plants or flowers or something on them, and sometimes stories that actually have plants that are evil and horror filled. And I had a lot of fun with the TBR. I feel like it was overall a great time. Plant-wise for this, I feel like it was just more of like an introduction to my current plants, and I didn't really get to do much more than that because it was so long. So I hope it was somewhat entertaining for you, especially if you're a plant lover. My plants are not great. We definitely have a long way to go, but I feel like since I filmed the initial like introduction and repotting segment of this, so much has happened with my plants. So I'm so excited to now, moving forward each month while I'm reading and showing you guys stuff, I'll actually be able to give plant updates. And we have to go plant shopping soon. Like, I want to start adding some more plants now that, you know, it's been like half a year and I really feel like I haven't been splurging on plants. I think my garden took up a lot of that time too, and I'm excited to kind of show you guys the garden footage and the ups and downs with the garden this year, because that's kind of taken over my summer. But I am really excited to get back into updating you guys on the plants that I have, getting new plants, and all of the in between. But anyways, let me know if you guys are plant lovers, if you guys have any plants at home or any house plants that you would recommend for me. I would also appreciate or look up and see what I think. I'm definitely building a plant wish list right now. So yeah, give me some recs. And maybe even some recs with book covers that have plants on them. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me. I appreciate you, and I will see you in my next video.